Ladies and gentlemen, the Caribbean and adjacent waters are preparing to enter a lively stretch of weather again, after a fairly calm period. According to the latest observational data from international meteorological centers, widespread rainfall is trending upward rapidly, especially in the western and southern Caribbean, where prolonged heavy rain may be experienced over the next 10 days. At the same time, in the north, a strong cold air mass is moving through Canada and the United States, pushing cold fronts deep to the south, which may even indirectly affect Caribbean waters in the coming days. Today's bulletin will bring you an overall view of this weather change, from the possibility of late-season tropical cyclone formation and the flooding situation in Central America, to the first major cold outbreak of November descending on the North American continent. Currently, satellite imagery this morning shows many small, scattered convective cloud bands over the Caribbean, moving in a northeast-southwest direction. These bands are producing brief showers, mainly in the early morning and early afternoon over Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba, and parts of the Bahamas. These are localized rains that arrive quickly and dissipate quickly, but they are still enough to disrupt recovery activities after Hurricane Melissa. In the Bahamas and the Florida Keys, scattered showers interspersed with light sunshine create the characteristic weather of a transitional period. Northeasterly winds are blowing stronger, and higher humidity is making the air cooler and more humid than usual. Meanwhile, in Jamaica, thunderclouds moving in from the east have caused localized rain in the parishes of Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland. Many areas have recorded heavy rain in a short time with thunder and strong gusts. In western Cuba, convective clouds are redeveloping but have not yet formed large rain systems. In the Cayman Islands, after 2 consecutive days of strong thunderstorms, the sky has cleared today, temperatures are pleasant, and humidity has decreased significantly. In the Central Caribbean, including Hispaniola, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic, the atmosphere is temporarily stable. The severe heavy rain and flash floods of the previous month have subsided. Conditions are drying out, facilitating recovery activities in the affected areas. In addition, Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands are also experiencing fine weather, clear skies, light winds, with only a few brief light showers over the eastern mountains. Overall, this morning's cloud map shows a clear differentiation of weather across the region. The northern Caribbean, from the Bahamas to Cuba, is under the influence of cool and humid air from a weakening cold air mass. Central areas such as Jamaica and Hispaniola have localized thunderstorms, while the southern Caribbean, including Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, Barbados, St. Lucia, and neighboring islands, still has plenty of sunshine, but humidity is rising quickly, signaling an unstable weather spell approaching. According to forecasts from European and American meteorological models, from the night of Friday, November 7th into November 8th, a large tropical moisture band from the Atlantic will move into the eastern Caribbean. Although this moisture band is not strong enough to form a depression or storm, it will bring an enormous amount of moisture, causing widespread rain for at least 4 to 5 days. Islands such as Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Barbados, Grenada, and Trinidad and Tobago are forecast to be affected first, with moderate to heavy rain, locally very heavy from Friday night through Sunday. Average rainfall may reach 50 to 100 millimeters per 24 hours, with some spots exceeding 150 millimeters. Low-lying coastal areas will face a risk of localized flooding. At the same time, Atlantic trade winds will increase to force 5 or to 6, with gusts above force 7, making seas rough. Offshore fishing vessels and tourist boats are advised to limit trips during the weekend period. In the north, the Bahamas and Cuba remain in the cool air mass behind the cold frontal trough. Rain appears only sporadically, mainly brief light showers. However, in Bermuda, a mid-level low-pressure area developing offshore is expected to bring a spell of strong winds and widespread rain starting this weekend. In Central America, countries such as Belize, Honduras, Guatemala, and Nicaragua will be temporarily dry for the next 1 to 2 days before facing a new round of heavy rain early next week. In the south, Panama and Costa Rica remain under the influence of an active southwest monsoon, causing prolonged heavy rain for many consecutive days. From now until the weekend, Jamaica is forecast to see decreasing rain. with only a 30–40% chance of rain each day, mainly in the afternoon. However, with hilly terrain, localized thunderstorms may trigger minor flash floods or landslides in mountainous areas. Cuba maintains scattered showers, concentrated in the west, with temperatures ranging from 27 to 30 degrees Celsius. Overall, conditions are quite comfortable. Haiti and the Dominican Republic are entering a drier phase, with only light showers over the southern mountains. After the severe floods in October, this is a favorable period for people to restore agricultural production. Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands remain ideal destinations this week. The weather is mainly sunny with clouds, brief afternoon showers, and does not affect tourism. Toward the weekend, rainfall increases slightly as the Atlantic moisture band approaches. In the Eastern Island group, especially Guadeloupe, Martinique, St. Lucia, and Barbados, rain is forecast to peak on Friday night and Saturday. Seas will be rough with average wave heights of 2 to 3 meters, locally over 4 meters. Local authorities have issued advisories for fishing boats and small vessels not to operate offshore during this period. Trinidad and Tobago is the area most likely to receive heavy rain. Heavy rain and strong thunderstorms will last from Friday night to Sunday morning, with total rainfall estimated at 150 to 200 millimeters. Southern lowlands and coastal areas may experience rapid flooding. Meanwhile, the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos will be cooler, with steady northeasterly winds and waves around 1.5 to 2.5 nm, but with a tendency to increase more strongly toward the weekend. The Yucatan Peninsula and Belize are temporarily dry. However, starting early next week, rainfall will increase rapidly as the monsoon trough shifts northward. Major forecasting centers such as NOAA in the United States and ECMWF in Europe agree that there are no clear signs of tropical cyclone formation in the Caribbean over the next 10 days. However, both models detect signals of a broad low-pressure area potentially appearing in the Western Caribbean around November 11 to 13, near the waters between Nicaragua, Honduras, and Belize. This is an area that frequently spawns weak late-season vortices due to the meeting of the monsoon trough from the south and cold fronts from the north, creating strong convergence. Although the likelihood of storm formation is low, rainfall in this area will spike sharply, especially in Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. 10-day rainfall totals could exceed 250 millimeters, locally over 300 meters. The risk of flash floods, landslides, and flooding in low-lying urban areas is very high. If the low center forms close to shore, its potential to strengthen will be limited, but the rain area may expand and last longer, causing more serious hydrological impacts. At the same time, in the north, a series of cold frontal systems is sweeping across Canada and the eastern United States. Areas such as Newfoundland, Quebec, the Great Lakes region, and the northeastern United States are experiencing heavy rain, gusty winds, and the season's first snow. Behind these fronts is a deep, cold air mass expected to spill as far south as the southern United States early next week. Nighttime temperatures in some southern U.S. areas may drop to only 3 to 5 degrees Celsius, equivalent to about 37 to 40 degrees Celsius. When this cold air reaches the Gulf of Mexico, it will bring strong northeasterly winds, making seas rough and indirectly affecting the northern Caribbean, including the Bahamas and Cuba. This is considered the first strong cold outbreak of the winter season in this area. The Caribbean Sea will become noticeably choppier from the weekend into early next week. Shipping routes through the Antilles Strait, the Anguilla, Antigua, Barbados, St. Lucia, Trinidad, and Tobago areas may encounter high waves and moderate to strong seas. Early next week, this situation will spread to the Western Caribbean, affecting Jamaica, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Fishermen and tourist vessels should closely monitor wave and wind forecasts and avoid going offshore during peak thunderstorm periods. A summary by region. Jamaica has a 40% chance of rain today, decreasing to 30% tomorrow, then increasing again over the weekend. The Cayman Islands have scattered rain around 40%, which may increase slightly next week. Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, Barbados, and St. Lucia have the highest rain chances, from 50 to 60% on Saturday. Guadeloupe, Dominica, and Martinique will peak in rainfall on Friday night. Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama will have continuous heavy rain from early next week. Beware of flooding. The Bahamas and Cuba will have light rain, but northeasterly winds will strengthen. Bermuda's rain chance will increase to 70% by the weekend as a strong front passes through. Northern islands such as Antigua, Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Martin, and Saba will be temporarily drier with only a 20–30% chance of rain, but by early next week, rainfall will also gradually increase. Ladies and gentlemen, although there is no signal indicating the formation of a new storm, prolonged heavy rain and an intensifying monsoon can still significantly affect the lives of people in the Caribbean and Central America. Many days of rain and high humidity combined with strong winds will increase the risk of flooding, landslides, and rough seas. Therefore, people need to proactively follow daily weather bulletins, especially during transitional periods like now. The Caribbean is entering a clear transitional phase. Cold air masses from the north are starting to meet hot, humid air masses from the equator, creating opposition and unpredictable variability in the weather. The two upcoming weak tropical disturbances may not strengthen into storms, but they will bring large amounts of rain and notable wind events across the region. Early preparation, heightened vigilance, and accurate information updates will help us be more proactive and safer in the rainy and windy days ahead. We will continue to bring you daily update bulletins with the latest data from international meteorological centers. If you find this bulletin useful, please press like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the latest forecasts. We wish you a peaceful evening, safe on every journey and under every roof.